Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Webster Tarpley here in Washington, D.C., talking about the turn of the tide vis-a-vis Obama. And naturally, this owes nothing to the right-wing reactionary ranting of the Limbaughs, the Cheneys, the Hannitys, the Newt Gingriches, these characters. You notice the Obama White House remains eager to play itself off against these odious figures. George Bush the Younger has poked his nose out of the cerements of his forgotten mausoleum this week to opine. The Obama White House is just delighted. They couldn't get enough of it. They're probably going to fund a road show of these odious reactionary figures that I've just mentioned, because that's what helps them. And let's get this straight again. You call Obama a socialist, you're helping him. It's a gift. You say that he's concerned about the poor, that's wonderful cover for Obama, who doesn't give a damn about the poor. You say that the unions have power under Obama, the UAW has been destroyed. The UAW has lost all their wages, all their benefits, and their health care in the future has been exchanged for worthless stock in General Motors and Chrysler. Open your eyes. Throw off the goggles of your idiotic right-wing ideology. Look at what is actually happening. Obama is a Wall Street puppet. This is the opposite of socialism. This has nothing to do with concern about the poor. And the unions are getting shafted 6 ways to Sunday. The UAW caused to vote itself out of existence when Obama cynically drove General Motors and Chrysler into bankruptcy. And $6 billion was immediately transferred to Wall Street. Wall Street made out like a bandit, paid in cash. $6 billion, as Greg Palast pointed out in a useful article. $6 billion went from this auto complex immediately to the coffers of Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan Chase. But that was the health care fund. The health care fund was in effect, and pension fund was robbed. The cash went immediately to the Wall Street banks. And now those UAW guys are sitting there with pieces of paper that say General Motors and Chrysler stock. And the value of that is anybody's guess. But my guess is that it's a wasting asset, because these companies have been delivered into the hands of asset strippers, and the attempt to build plug-in electric cars is technologically unfeasible, and therefore this is a doomed enterprise. So Obama represents Wall Street, Wall Street, Wall Street, government of the bankers, by the bankers, for the bankers. Stop with the socialism already. Polls have now found that socialism, for many people, has a vaguely benign or beneficent overtone, right? Communism is long gone. No Soviets for the past 20 years almost. And therefore, socialism is not going to scare anybody. As a matter of fact, after 8 years of the depredations of Mad Dog Bush and his reactionary Republican gang, to a lot of people, socialism sounds like, well, let's give that a try. Couldn't be worse than Bush. So you call Obama a socialist, you're giving him a gift. When you call him a socialist, I want to know, is he paying you to say that? Because if you're not getting paid, you're providing services for nothing. The operative term here is fascism, the fascist corporate state, the Mussolini fascist corporate state, a government-sponsored compulsory cartel in which wages are driven down. See Detroit, wages driven down. Production is cut. See Detroit, production is cut. And fictitious, bloated, cancerous derivatives and other forms of paper capital are propped up. Same thing. See Detroit. The $6 billion went to Wall Street at the same time that the UAW was looted. That's the corporate state. That's the Mussolini fascist corporate state, Italy, 1930 to 1940, the mature form of the Mussolini regime when he got to do what he wanted to do. The corporate means that you've got government presiding over a tripartite arrangement with management and labor in which the values of the banks predominate, certainly not the value of labor. The union is transformed into a company union. There were fascist unions. Maybe we should look at those. They were corporatist unions who believed in this stuff, right? The organic unity of labor and capital, no class struggle, no. Couldn't have a general strike. Right? A real union, a real UAW, would have responded to Ratner the Rat and this guy Dees, the people that Obama put in to run the auto industry, would have responded with a general strike, a mass strike. So would the SEIU, if it had been a real union. But, of course, these are not real unions anymore. These are fake unions. These are company unions. These are strike-breaking unions simply designed as means of social control. Whether the U.S. trade union movement is dead or not, open question. But right now, certainly moribund or catatonic or somehow otherwise paralyzed, not acting in any useful way. But to call that socialism is a whitewash. It is, it's wonderful. It's singing tomorrows compared to what you're going to get with Obama. So right-wingers all desist from this silly propaganda that only makes Obama stronger. Notice, he loves to talk about O'Reilly and Hannity and Fox and Cheney and Bush and all these people. He's always tried in his own speeches, mentioning these people frequently, to play himself off against them. The hemorrhaging that Obama fears is on his left, and even things that do not have immediate sort of across-the-board mass appeal get him worried. Right now, Obama is worried, number one, by the fact that large elements of his base are interested in a single-payer approach to health care, or at least, I think single-payer probably not feasible under the current circumstances, although possibly desirable, but not worth talking about, but at least the presence of a government-backed option as a choice. And I'll talk about this in another segment. A lot of people thought that Obama was going to bring them health care reform. What he forgot to see was that Obama, being a creature of Wall Street, is therefore a creature of that part of Wall Street that extends into Connecticut, to Hartford, to the traditional center of insurance, and therefore the derivatives, the insurance companies in the United States, by and large, have bankrupted themselves with derivative speculation, just what you'd expect, just like everybody else. AIG, bankrupt, a big insurance company. The Hartford had to be bailed out by the TARP. A couple of other large insurance companies had to be bailed out by Treasury funds under the TARP. So now you're going to have a private insurance-based system using insurance companies that are bankrupt and that are themselves living on life support with public funds going into their derivatives-destroyed coffers. Get the picture. The so-called health care reform is yet another form of the derivatives bailout. It's the derivatives bailout wearing the nurse's uniform or the doctor's white coat with the stethoscope for a stress test, no doubt, on the various insurance companies that would all fail them. So Obama is concerned about the fact that his left wing is crumbling because they can see that he's a banker's boy, because he has not delivered on any of these health care promises. And what he's talking about is cost-cutting. He's talking about gouging $600 billion out of Medicare, Medicaid, and transferring that, you guessed it, into the hands of the insurance companies, therefore Wall Street